Ishigal Nikita.
Ishigal Tash.
And you're listening to Two Chickpeas on a podcast. This week we have another very special guest, very blessed to be joined by TV presenter, maths teacher, social entrepreneur, and all-round amazing, loving, bright, the one and only Bobby Seagull.
Thanks, Tash. That's such a warm, hearty introduction.
I had to match your warmth, your personality, your
Exactly.
energy. You are just a bright ball of just lovingness.
And it's
you
a
know?
pleasure to be in your podcast. And so I've binge listened to a few of your episodes, including the very first one and some of the most recent ones.
So you've seen like the evolution.
I've seen the journey, but
yeah.
it's
The
a great
journey.
journey because now, like episode 1 is just like you're having a coffee and having a little
Yeah.
chat, and now you still got that authenticity
Yeah.
to do, but
Thank you.
professional outfit. It's well
Thank
done.
you, a professional.
Tommy, guys. So professional.
I was so happy to have you. We've since we've discovered who you are as well, you just I can't say any bad things about you. You're just such a positive ray of sun.
Sunshine, yeah.
Honestly,
I think that's I've always been, since I've been a child, I've always found the pluses. Ooh, maths pun.
yeah.
The pluses to anything. Like if there's something that's, the toast is burned or mum is late picking us up, I'll always find, mum's late, which means we can spend more time being naughty. Or if
Yeah.
the toast is burned, it means we get to take out the Rice Krispies. So I always find something positive. That's always been
I
my
love that.
personality.
I love that.
I wish I was like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where did you get that from? Because you had a big birthday last week.
Yeah, I turned somehow 40.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
Isn't it? Like
40 is like a proper, I thought this at 30. 30 is a proper.
I'm 30.
Oh,
and I
happy
turned
birthday.
Thank you. Well, I turned it in November.
Still have, you can celebrate it for the whole year.
Oh,
The big,
yeah.
big years. And 40, it feels like, I remember when I was growing up as a child,
Yeah.
like my uncles and aunties, like the proper uncles and aunties at the parties and weddings, they weren't even 40 probably.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what? I'm 40.
That's how I
You
feel.
don't look at it all though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
at all.
when you said that, I was like, "There's no way."
Although I think it's because I'm not married and have no girlfriend.
Oh,
I
so it shows on your
I think
face.
I think once I get
No
real
stress.
responsibilities, because the reality of my life is, I'm not selfish. I like to think I'm an altruistic kind of guy, but my life is very much like, I do what I want to do when I want to do. My family are really supportive. But if I had someone else, a partner, a child, the nature of my personality means I think I would put a lot of effort devoted to them. So I think I think I'll age when I'm back on for part 2 in a few years. You'll be like, Bobby, you don't quite look as good as you used to, but you still smile. You still smile.
Like,
be
yeah, I
like,
got wife
Bobby.
and kid now.
Yeah, we can tell you're married. No, joking, but you look amazing.
Thank you.
And your energy, your everything is not giving, well, I don't want to offend 40-year-old people, but in my idea, when you're younger, 40 seems like this really big age, and the older you become, you're like, I'm still like a baby, guys. Do you know what I mean? How do you
Yeah.
feel now you're 40?
The thing is, most of my peers who are 40, they are married and children.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, it's really sad when I speak to them, they often tell me, they love their wife and their children, obviously.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't change it for the world, but they feel as if the best years of their life are past. And I'm like, don't say that. And they're like, they're going to do everything for their son or daughter, but
Yeah.
they don't feel, almost like our parents,
Yeah.
our grandparents, they feel as if now they live to support someone else, not for themselves. And I feel really sad when I hear that, because obviously if you've got responsibilities to children, relatives, uncles, aunties, etc., you take that seriously. But I think the moment we forget about ourselves, it's the moment where like life ends. It's almost like, have you heard that phrase where if an airplane is crashing, the first person you should put your mask on is yourself.
Right.
Give oxygen and then
Yeah.
help the person next to you. So you can't save others if you don't save yourself.
Yes. I've been saying that so much to people recently, just because I feel like everyone, I don't know if it's like January, February, like gloomy blues, and everyone is just like burning out and feeling like mad depressed, all that SAD and all of that. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
look after yourselves, babe. You
New
can't,
Year's,
can't be doing this for other people when you're like this. Do you know
you
what I
got to sort yourself out first. Fix up, shape up.
mean? Yeah. The
That's
Bobby Seagull.
A teacher used to say that to me. Fix up, shape up.
What do you say to the kids then? What's your phrase?
Do I have a phrase?
Catchphrase? Mr.
Oh,
Seagull?
God. What's my catchphrase? I don't think, what did I say last
Something
week? This week?
Relating to flying.
I don't
surely.
really... thing is, the students in my own school,
Yeah.
I tend to be a bit more serious because they see me on a weekly basis. Where students at schools I don't teach at, I can be like super fun, enthusiastic Bobby Seagull. Because my own students, they'll sometimes say to me, "Oh, Mr. Seagull, I thought you were meant to be a fun teacher." I'm like, what? I'm still, I like to think I'm in the top 10% of fun teachers in my own school. But I think I just, you know, if you see someone regular, almost like if you've got a parent or an uncle and you see them regularly, they stop being as fun. If you see them like once every 6 months, they're like, exactly. Time. So I've got to be more like, okay, you've not done your homework. Oh, but sir, it's a mark of my development of my character that I'm not doing my homework. No. Attention. Don't give me this nonsense. So like, whereas if I'm at an external school talk, like I think I'm going to run a school later this week. If kids are naughty, I'll probably overlook it because I'm not going to see them next week or tomorrow. So I think it's a different relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a fun uncle, I think.
Yeah. Fun Bobby.
Fun Bobby. Or the Fun Bobby. Did you ever watch Friends?
Yeah.
I somehow, I love Friends, but I somehow missed Fun Bobby. But he was only fun because he
drank.
Yeah.
Whereas you're
I drink.
high life,
You're just
baby.
like this all the time.
You're literally a bunny. Nimble bunny.
You don't want to see me in the morning, my energy. In the morning, my family have got to, almost like they need a restraining order because I'm too energetic. So one of my younger brothers, we used to all live together. Now we all live separately. But he used to say, he'd look at me in the morning and I'd come down like ready to like speak 1,000 miles an hour. And he'd put his like, and I say, "Oh yeah, is it?"
Was he like this?
He's just like, just. I think everyone else needs a bit of. My mum and dad, they'll listen to me at any time. But my brothers, they know.
Are you the baby?
No, I'm the second of 4.
Oh,
wow.
Second of 4.
Interesting.
Yeah, all boys.
Oh wow.
An Indian mother. She wanted a girl.
Oh.
Yeah, and she gave up by the 4.
She was like,
I would give up by 4, mate.
Yeah,
God.
done.
Popping out 4, just for one.
I used to want to have like 5 or 6 or 7 or something. Now you'd be lucky if you get the one, honestly.
Yeah, I think actually I've been reading a lot about the world population slowing. Like a lot of Western countries, we're not. Was it? I think you need 2.1 children per couple in order for the population to stay stable.
Really?
But we're significantly below that in the UK. So our population. Yeah. So
is that a bad thing though? I don't think so.
The thing is, it's one of those things where, as a human, it doesn't sound bad because less resources and you know the planet's and unsustainable, etc. But you get a situation where the pyramids invert in terms of population. Like in Japan, they sell more adult nappies than baby nappies.
Oh,
so that's what happens eventually, and then all the young people have to support the elders in terms of their pensions because we're all working, paying more taxes to keep up the people who are really old. So it's like a weird one where you need it to be like, it's like Goldilocks. Not too high, not too low.
Yes.
2.1. Pretty much 2.1 is good.
That makes sense that you said that about Japan. Have you watched Live to 100 on Netflix?
No, I've not.
So
good.
So really good. I haven't finished all the episodes yet, but there's this guy and he goes to what he calls these blue zones across the world, and there's people in these regions live up to 100 years old, and he studies their lifestyle.
I've heard of this actually.
Yes. And so there's lots of people in Japan. I think this is a Japan episode, but they eat lots of purple food, which makes so much sense because of antioxidants. And then they talk about, you know, your lifestyle, always working, like don't stop sort of thing, always exercise your brain. So yeah, very, very interesting, I would say.
My great grandfathers lived to like 110.
Wow.
And that's like back in the day.
Wow.
So obviously there's some good genes potentially.
That is.
Yeah, you're
110.
Yeah, no, and that was like,
these days.
he would have been born like 1870 or 80. So that's like a back in those days. But although in the West they wouldn't accept it because like, where's his birth certificate? Like, you know, like back in the day in India they probably didn't have like proper birth certificates. But I've been told reliably.
Yeah, even our own dad has a fake birthday.
Yeah, he has like,
I think all Indian parents have
1st of January
2000.
But tell us more about your journey then, Bobby. Oh, let's start with your name first and foremost. Yeah, Bobby, real name Seagull.
Bobby, yeah. So Bobby is my mum. Okay, I'd like to pretend I'm named after Bobby Moore, the West Ham and England captain from 90. I'm a
big West Ham
fan. But my mum named my first name after a character from Dallas. So there was a character called Bobby Ewing, I think. Apparently he's a bit of a heartthrob back in his day. Mom's like, oh, this boy looks like a Bobby. So it's like, I'll take that as a compliment. My mom. But the Seagull is my real surname from day one. But my dad's surname is Jose. Sort of like the Portuguese equivalent of Joseph.
Yes.
Because where my family are from, Kerala in South India, so right at the southwest tip. Yeah. I think the people I guess my white British friends, they all heard of Goa. And I'm like, a bit further down from Goa. And they're like, oh, okay, Kerala. So historically, my ancestors were all been Hindu. But the 1600s, the Portuguese came to Kerala. And as part of their spice trade, they're like, oh, also take this Bible and maybe you want to be Christian. And if not, we'll do some things to you. Maybe, I don't know what happened.
Somebody gonna get
hurt. Yeah,
real bad.
Probably that equivalent. And there might have been some nice ones as well. But so my family have been Catholic. So Jose, like almost, I tell people, like Jose Mourinho, the football manager. So in an alternate universe, you're now speaking on the Two Chickpeas podcast. Two Chickpeas
in
a podcast.
Yes.
Very clever name.
Thank you.
Do you do merchandise?
We should.
I would honestly, I'd wear that as a t-shirt.
Oh, you'll be the first person.
I love
you'll
that.
be the
I
first
love
person.
that. I'm very good at wearing people's merch.
Oh my god. Okay, we're definitely gonna sort some out now.
My name should, it should be Bobby Jose on this podcast. But my dad read a book growing up called Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a 1960s, maybe early 70s novella. Richard Bach, American author. Really tiny book, like 100 pages. You can probably read like an hour and 20 minutes, really tiny book. But the novella is about a seagull. His name is Jonathan Livingston. And normally seagulls are just really annoying. All they do is like nick your chips and squawk and
I'm scared of them.
Defecate.
The Brighton ones are brave.
Yeah, these seagulls, they're getting really adventurous.
Yeah, you come with your chips, and they'll just they'll just attack you.
Yeah,
you can't eat your chips.
It's the same with pigeons these days.
Like, you know how I feel about pigeons.
Yeah. Pigeons just like
the rats of the sky.
You
have the whole sky to fly,
and then
but
they
why
come
are you flying at my eye level?
And also, just one little side, Asian aunties and uncles that feed pigeons. Why? I see this all the time, like, uncle, auntie, stop, auntie, that's not, I know you're trying to be helpful, the planet, but auntie, no, don't feed these pigeons. I see this all the time in East Ham, and I'm like,
don't feed
them. I never say anything. I just like look at them and go like, auntie.
These pigeons are like heavy as well. You know,
because they've been fed on roti and
done all of it. Maybe that's why they fly so low. That's my problem with them, is that they have the whole sky, but you're flying on my eye line, and I literally have to duck. I'm really scared.
These pigeons.
Anyway, as you have.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, seagull.
I don't have ADHD, I don't think, but I maybe self-diagnosed. I'm very easily sort of not distracted, but I go down little.
No, we started talking about pigeons, Bobby. That wasn't you.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I get carried along.
I feel like recently, honestly, I've really been feeling like I also have ADHD. I don't know how to self-diagnose yet. Maybe you can help me.
As a teacher, maybe I should. There'll be a checklist I can borrow from school.
I need something. Yeah.
So the seagull. So in this book, most seagulls do the normal annoying thing of just, all they do is they live a subsistence lifestyle. They eat fish, fly to find fish, and then they sleep and then do the same cycle. But Jonathan Livingston said, we've got these wings. Flying is not just functional. We can actually like find a greater meaning, soar the skies, almost get that euphoric sense of being a seagull. Okay. And he found this like greater purpose in himself. So he learned something and he tried to teach other seagulls this. And my dad loved this concept of you learning something for yourself and then teaching others. Like he wanted to give his kids the surname Seagull. So it was a totally made up name, but it's my real surname from day one, 13th of Feb, 1984. Is Bobby Seagull.
Sorry. It's very sweet, but also like the manifestation into your life.
Yeah.
Because you're a teacher.
I'm an educator.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's just, what's that? It's called nominative determinism, where your surname, although I think my surname, because it's always stood out, I've had people being nice to me, like, oh, Bobby Seagull, that's a great name. And because they approach me with a smile, I instinctively have a smile. So even at primary school, the dinner lady used to let me jump the queue sometimes. They'd say like, oh, Bobby Seagull, what a lovely name. You can go to the front of the queue.
Have some extra jelly, Bobby.
Yeah, so the whole life I've had like, there's like male privilege and things in this world, but I've had like surname privilege.
Yes.
I've had the genuineness of thing.
It is a cool
I think
surname.
there's a research to be done about surname privilege. If you've got like a uninteresting like Smith, like, but Seagull, like, ooh, what is
Seagull? Yeah.
Seagull's good.
Tell us about your British Asian experience. Were you born and raised here?
Yeah, born, raised, East London, brap. I'm like, thing is, I've lived my whole life in East London, but I'm not hood. I think I used to be hood.
You don't have to be hood.
Do you get hood when you're like angry though? We've spoken about this before.
Actually, I get hood depending on who I'm surrounded by. So if I'm playing football with my lads, then my accent changes significantly.
Yeah.
Give us
She's like, can you pass, bruv? Come on.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an actor, I don't know how, actors can switch.
Yeah.
Mine is like, it's like empathetic switching. So yesterday we had a lovely man, I had a lovely man that came to my house to fix the boiler, and he was quite East London. He's like, "Oh, right, how's it going?" And then I suddenly started speaking like him, but not like to patronize him, but just like
match him.
empathetically. I think I always match.
Yeah.
So whether I've been, whether I've been in a really posh school or Citibank or working with kids in the street, I'll always subconsciously adapt to them. I'm like, oh my God, do I really sound like that? So I don't know if I have an accent. It always adapts slightly.
Yeah, I think that happens naturally wherever you are, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if I'm in America, I mean, this is what you should do.
Yeah,
Forget that. I amped up the Downton Abbey of it all in your accent,
Okay,
I enunciate. I don't think I like to enunciate quite a lot as it is now, but extra when I'm in America. They love that shit.
They do.
And the amount of free drinks that you get at the bar and stuff just for having this accent.
London?
Yeah.
From London.
London.
They're like, okay, can you say water? And I'm like, water. And they're like,
water.
Yeah.
You've announced the tea.
No, they don't like the tea. They like it when you say water.
No, I said that to American once, and I was like, water, and they were like, water.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what?
Water. I would like some water.
I was like, what do you
They
want
liked it when I said water. They were like, oh, can they have some water? Like,
Well, like you're a top boy.
Like water.
But that's our advice to you if you're in America. Amp up the accent.
Okay.
The ladies, everyone there, they love that. So if you're at a bar,
maybe you need to go there, Bobby.
You need to find a
New
goodie.
York bars.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've not been to America for maybe I think it's maybe 8-9 years.
That's
But
exactly
babe,
why.
we need to get you on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you'll find the one.
That's it.
Yeah.
A New York chick.
Yeah.
Chicas.
She doesn't have to be New York. She could be American.
She's
but
American, yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Canadians cool. Canadians are almost better than Americans because they're a bit more. I think Americans. This is the geopolitics.
Americans are we rule
I think
the
Americans
world.
got the sense of like Team America.
Yeah. American number one.
Yeah, whereas
Yeah.
Canadians are more like, oh, we're from Canada.
Yeah,
we're a
we're
bit
from-
more understated.
We out here,
Yeah.
like, we're cool.
Yeah, but they got a cool accent. So.
Yeah.
Well, talking about this like dating stuff, like, can we quickly touch on Indian
Of
matchmaking?
course, yeah, of course.
We loved you on Indian
Loved you.
matchmaking. That's exactly why I said at the beginning, I was like, I just have not got a bad word to say about Bobby.
Oh.
Like,
No,
she's
I'm not gonna, I love you, obviously, but I'm gonna be real with you. And I
Be
hope you don't
real.
mind.
I need advice. I take
The
advice.
dad jokes, I think we need to reel them in.
But I think
a
that's
little
it.
bit.
I know.
But I know it's your personality. I know.
It's so hard.
That's like someone being like, or
What?
something about you. Like, oh yeah, don't be loud. You're so loud.
But I
Yeah.
get
Can't
you.
help it.
But you know what? Sometimes
No,
as
but
a-
I don't think it's a bad thing because obviously that's what we've all fallen in love with. But I think for when watching that, I think that's what put her off.
although as a mathematician, have you heard of something known as randomized controlled trials? So it's where imagine you got like 4 people you're going to date in the next couple of weeks. In 2 dates, and I actually do this, 2 dates, I will be my authentic version with the dad jokes. And 2 of the dates in that same week,
You'll take 'em out.
I'll remove not all of it because I can't be a different person.
No.
I'll reduce the number of dad jokes.
Yes.
Okay.
I tend to get more successful in terms of getting date 2 and 3 with reduction of dad jokes.
There you go.
So like if I'm not authentically myself,
Yeah.
I actually do better. I get to date 2, 3 quite easily. But
Yes.
and then slowly I start like amping up, and then they're like, see you later. So it's annoying because I know what it takes to do well on dating. So I'm a smart person. I've read books. I understand.
Just don't be authentic.
But that's what I've
Don't
learned.
be yourself.
Don't be yourself. Don't be yourself. Although I think don't be yourself in the early stages of
Yeah,
dating.
don't be yourself too much. At
But
the
I think
beginning.
my problem is always what you see in date 1
Yes.
pretty much what I am in date 3, 7, 8, 72.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like it. Maybe it's my ego speaking. I like to think that I'd make it one day a good husband, a good father.
You got all the
yeah,
material.
absolutely.
All of
I
it.
don't. But I don't think I'll get there because you need to be almost like I need to channel bad boy Bobby.
No, not bad boy.
Oh,
I'm
bad
telling
boy.
you. Do you know who will love your jokes?
Who?
Americans.
Oh my God.
telling you. I'm
You're
telling you, they
right.
love all of this.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, they love the
Yeah,
cheese. the
They love
corn.
it.
They do. They love it.
And they'll hold
See,
us to
Martin
British
needed to
humour.
take you there, honestly.
And I've had more DMs from American people.
There you go.
Indians and non-Indians. Oh my God, you're right. There's so many.
Epiphany.
Oh, that's so true. I
All right,
think
let's book our tickets. Let's go. We know all the bars.
I've never
we
thought
actually
about that.
do.
That's why they like the
Yeah.
cheesiness.
Exactly.
Whereas the Brits, they're just like, oh god.
The Brits
Yeah.
fuck 'em.
Yeah.
The Brits are you're all miserable sods. We're all
miserable.
miserable. All of us, okay? All of us.
Including me. To be
Americans, honestly, when I was in New York,
Yeah.
I was there for like 9-10 days. I had more attention and more like interaction and
She loves
dates
the
with.
story.
I did though.
Oh,
I
I'd
did.
hear it.
I
I'd
had
hear it.
more attention, interaction, dates in those 9 days than I did the entire year I was in London.
Wow.
Maybe even years in London. They have a much healthier approach to dating.
We'll see Bobby going off to America.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
need to do the Indian matchmaking in America.
Yeah. So when they do season
Seema.
4,
Yes.
I'm like, Seema auntie, I'm coming back, Bobby. I'm like, well, Seema auntie, I'm now rent a place in New York.
Yes. Yeah. And Seema was like, okay,
Yeah.
come on, Bobby, let's
Yeah.
go.
Not old York. New York.
See? They're gonna love that.
America's like, oh my God, Bobby, you're so funny.
Do you know what? Yeah, we were just having dinner with Mum before we came here, and she was like, "I really wish I could meet Bobby."
Yeah.
She loves you.
I'll do a little video message for her after
Yeah,
we finish the
yeah.
podcast.
She would love that. She'll
Yeah.
show everyone at school, like, look. She also works in a school, has come from a school
Yeah.
setting. So yeah, we really appreciate what you
Team
do.
education, I like that.
Yeah.
How did you find that whole experience on Indian matchmaking anyway? Just
So I think because interestingly, before I did Indian matchmaking, I had a TV career separately.
Yeah.
But when I went on the show, I was very clear that I didn't want my TV persona to become who I am. I think
Right.
I've seen season 1 and 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, and someone's like, oh, their thing is they're a doctor, or they run a jewelry shop, or they're really posh, or they're really rich. And I was like, I don't want that TV thing to be me.
Right.
I just want to be my the teacher, the happy chappy, the dad joke guy.
Yeah.
And if the person likes that, great. Because I know the way the world we live in, sometimes people are like, oh, he does TV stuff. Then they'll probably date me for that reason rather than me being myself. So I tried to I think even when the dad asked me on that date on the show, like, what do you do? I said, I'm a teacher. And I sort of sheepishly said, oh yeah, and I do a bit of I do some public communication stuff. But I didn't want to say the word TV at all.
Oh, yeah,
Because I want people to just accept me as Bobby the guy, not he does
not Bobby the
telly.
TV
Otherwise,
star.
they might change their way they approach or treat me, which I don't want to be
which
treated.
is absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
What
need
about
someone-
when people recognize you off the telly though, and they see and like, oh, you're the guy, Bobby from the telly or the maths teacher? What's that like?
Yes, it varies. So I get different groups of fans. So I get the OG fans
Yeah.
from University Challenge. That was
Yes.
back in 20. That's what gave my whole TV career. They tend to be middle-aged, middle-class white people above 55 to 60. So often they're the ones saying, oh, my granddaughter would love you. So or daughter,
Yeah,
yeah.
introduce us then.
Yeah, so those people at train stations, I always bump into because they take public transport. They go,
Yeah.
little day trips. Then a lot of people recognize me for my maths, so all the
Yes.
math stuff and the science, my road trip shows, all the sort of nerdy mathsy people, and they're like, they sort of follow me on social media, so they've been keeping up to date. But then the newer ones, it tends to be mostly so before, Asians wouldn't really recognize me. I think maybe because Asians maybe don't watch University Challenge. I don't know. Maybe I think it tends to be like a white
No,
British
they're watching
thing.
Star Plus.
Star Plus, yeah, Monday 8:30 Star Plus time.
Yeah.
Or my parents, they watch Asian Net. It's like a South Asian, South Carolyn.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
But Indian matchmaking, I find now 1 in every 3 groups of Asians, someone will come and say something. Because that's probably, I reckon, in a group of 3 or 4 people, someone's probably watched
Indian
matchmaking. Like, oh
Exactly.
my God, it's that guy. So it's kind of cool. I like it because finally now my community's recognizing me.
Yeah.
And I like it. I always talk to people randomly on bus stops and tubes. So now it's nice that they don't think I'm a maniac. They be like, oh, hello. And I can talk to them with their book and their life and their aims and dreams.
I'm going to come back to what you just said because I thought that's really interesting. But I want to just circle back to Indian matchmaking really quickly. Just because I'm like, okay, it didn't work out on the show. But surely the DMs are popping off. Come
yeah.
on.
So popping is an understatement. They need to, what's the word even more powerful than popping?
Blowing up.
DMs are
Bang,
blowing up,
yeah.
capital
Yeah.
BLO.
Loads of exclamation marks.
Blowing.
like fireworks.
Pataka.
It was from the first episode, hundreds of DMs a day.
Wow.
Hundreds. hundreds, literally just like, and everyone's like, oh, you haven't, because they obviously watched it and they saw that I got rinsed. And they're like, yeah,
You didn't get rinsed.
yeah, I got let down.
No, you didn't.
Because
You didn't find love on the show, and that's fine.
yeah, because my approach always in that show was I would always give someone a chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know from my experience, as long as they're like reasonable people and you're sort of reasonably attracted to them, you should probably give them a date too, because you don't really know. Like, even now, I've got a date too coming up with someone. I wasn't like immediately compelled by them, but I'm like, actually, no, they're a decent enough human being, had a bit of fun, so probably a date too. So my perspective was that on the show, I would almost say yes to someone for a date too. So I was quite surprised, like, I'm not going to get a date too. But again, I realized different people have different approaches to dating. But yeah, the DMs kept on popping, and then I had people sort of not representing, they're almost like being agents for their sister or their cousin or their relatives, saying, I've got one of my friends lives in Texas, or my friend lives in Boston or in Australia.
See, the Americans love you.
It really is, but it kept. The thing is, at first it was quite funny, like a few, but after it got like hundreds and hundreds, I was like, I can't even respond to these. I just left it unread, and I think over Christmas this year, or last year, I tried to respond to a few ones which are really lovely. The ones which are people a bit aggressive, because you get the sort of the aggressive ones going like, I think we're the perfect match. Best.
Yeah.
Like, or the ones sending pictures. Some people send inappropriate pictures. Ladies out there, like, come on.
Wow.
I know there's the male equivalent of Richard pics, but don't be sending me things.
Holy shit,
because look, I'm a teacher. I can't respond to those things.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're getting it all, man.
I know. It was an eye opener. And the thing is, I still get, because people come to the show later, I still get like weekly quite a few messages coming in, like mostly nice ones, but sometimes people are like, you should date me or date my friend. But the only problem is when someone says, I think the aggressive ones, often I'm like, thank you so much, really appreciate your kind words, but then they're like, okay, respond back to me now.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's really hard to, so like it's a balance between responding to people but not feeling as if you're on the hook to respond to like 100 people.
Yeah, that's what's so hard with modern dating, isn't it? Because if your connection initially is the phone, so then you really, and I do it too, I really cling on to like someone's pattern of response, and you're like, they're not replying as much as they were, or they're spacing it out, or you can just feel the energy's different by like day 3 or something, and it's very like warped, isn't it? It's a bit of a mind boggle.
I think it's called parasocial.
Okay.
It's a term where nowadays, because of social media, there are people that we've never met in our real lives, but either, for older people who use Facebook Messenger or Instagram DMs or Snapchat, they feel as if they know that person.
Yes.
But all they're doing is they're seeing their stories and their reels and maybe the odd response back to their comments, but they feel as if, I know this person. The thing is, I do the same. There are people that I really rate in the media and social media, and I feel as if I know them, and sometimes I meet them. I'm lucky enough to meet them. Like, oh my God, I've been following you for years, and they're just like, okay, that's a bit weird, but you can see their eyes. But they're like, oh yeah, lovely, thank you. So I think that parasocial, we feel that we know people, even though we don't really.
Yeah.
We kind of get that sometimes. But we're starting to get recognized now. Like,
I feel like I know you too.
Yeah. See, do you see what I mean? Like,
but do you think we are different to what
No.
you? No.
Really?
So I also think we're the same.
No, I think it's the same. It's the same. So I feel like really bouncy, lovely.
Same with you as well. Like your persona is the same.
Yeah. You're literally what we thought you were going to be.
Yeah.
Like.
As people often tell me,
more
so I didn't have to act to be. Because I think sometimes if you're on a show, it's natural. Like when there's a camera on, you get a bit nervous.
Yeah.
But I've always been, again, the reason I think I got plucked out to do TV in the first place from Universe Challenge was, it's not like I like the show, but it's not the most exciting quiz show in the world. But I was just myself.
Yeah.
And then people watching are like, who's this guy? Why is he excited about metabolic reactions and the 17th century French wars? Why is he excited? Because I'd get excited about life.
Yeah.
And that came through. So who I am seems to sort of work on telly. So
definitely.
Yeah, you're passionate, and I liked as well because I watched a few episodes that you were on with the university challenge, and you were like, yes. When you're putting, like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
So everyone else is like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, everyone's a
And
bit
you're
like understated.
And I was like, yeah, it's a win, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You're quite a smart person. Really smart
I'm
person.
very academic.
I literally, all these shows like The Chase, name me another one, Countdown. I want to be Mastermind. I ain't no Mastermind. You literally just knew everything.
Yeah, I've always been someone. I think curious. I'm very curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, again, for example, even before coming to this podcast, I know sometimes people, they're like, if they've got podcast requests, they'll do a quick Google, check a couple of reels. But I listen to like 4 or 5 episodes. I always immerse myself in things. Even if I'm dating people, I'll immerse myself in what their interests are. I'll tell them, tell me what music and what songs. And I won't tell them that I'm doing the immersion because they'll be like, that's really freaky. But I will, for example, there was a girl a few years ago that liked heavy metal. I didn't like it. I always used to be, I like all sorts of music. I'm eclectic, but I hate heavy metal. But I spent a few weeks like watching documentaries on Metallica and Black Sabbath and I now I like heavy metal. So I think my personality has always been, if I meet someone, obviously you connect with them as a human, but I like find out a couple of things about them and then read all about it. So I've always had that curiosity. And then obviously over years it builds up to like a huge wealth of knowledge about a range of random different things.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's really special as well. And every woman loves a passionate man.
I know.
So,
You need to like slowly release it. Mine's like, science experiments in school. I think mine's more like, chuck it in. So they're like, oh my, and they might get like, the eyes might get like, I don't know, something's too bright.
Yeah.
Or they might get burned from a little bit. So I need to like learn to like slowly.
But I thought it was really interesting. You said something about being recognized, especially by Indian people after appearing on Indian Matchmaking.
Yes.
And obviously our MO with the podcast is to understand the British Asian experience. And so when you said that, sort of a light bulb went off in the head. Did you not feel seen or fully accepted by your community or Indian people beforehand? Or what is, because you said like a mastermind and academia and stuff.
It's only a white, like even like for example, all my matches on dating apps and Hinge and Bumble, they tend to be more white British women. Yeah. And even like I use Dilmill.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at, I don't get much matching. Okay, since Indian Matchmaking, a bit different. They're like, oh, is that guy? Yeah. But before Indian Matchmaking, very little success on Asian dating apps. Whereas on British, like white British dating apps with like Hinge and stuff, I tend to do better. And it annoys me because I'm an Asian person. Although, to be honest, I'm open to who I date, race, religion. I was going to say gender, but not really. No, women. But I've not tended to be as successful with... In fact, I think... So I've been now single for 12 years. I've never had a second date. And I've been on... You know how many first dates I've been on in 12 years?
Go on.
As of last week, first dates, 130.
Wow.
I even have a spreadsheet. Secret spreadsheet. No one's... Not even my siblings, no one.
Anymore.
Yeah, that's like secret in terms of no one's allowed to look at it apart from me.
Well, what's the function of the spreadsheet? Just
it's more, as someone that's a statistician, I'd understand my own story.
Yes.
Like, things are going well, things I need to improve on. Again, my randomized A/B control trials about knowing why some things work. I know that if I remove some of my enthusiasm, like I rate my enthusiasm on the date. 10 is like, oh yes, let's go, baby. Like Austin Val, that's too much. And 0 is like, okay. Yes.
Little bobblehead.
Generally, if I'm like 6 or 7, my enthusiasm, I get like, I think like a 40-50% chance of a date too. If I'm 8-9 plus my enthusiasm, it drops down to like 10-15%. So I know that from the date. So again, it's more for myself. One day, if I meet Mrs. Seagull and I get married, I'd love to publish a book subject to her permissioning on, because obviously everyone's anonymized. So I had one girl that I dated once. All I say is she had a Greek background. But she read my book, one of my books, and I mentioned my statistical approach to dating, and she said, if you ever write a book about dating, just make sure you never mention me. So I think a couple of people are conscious, but I never publicly associate anyone because
Say with the podcast, we literally said this on the last episode. I was literally tell people when you date me, I'm like, be careful how you want to handle this, because
on the podcast.
If you fuck up, you've given me a great story to tell. You know
a great reel.
Yeah. Exactly.
Your reels are great, by the way. I love it.
Thanks,
that's all Tash.
Well done. Well done. That's it.
But what about actually hearing you talk about the spreadsheet and you talk about yourself, and actually it's a bit sad to hear you be so almost self-critical and look at yourself almost like the issue.
Yeah,
Surely the spreadsheet has some data on the types of women you date, and maybe it looks at their cultural or educational background or something. Because do you have that for women? I know that sounds like horrible, like you're rating them.
But I think I put down like their academic interests, their sporting interests, their family values, and I'll give that all like a mark out of 10 with some comments.
Yeah, do like personality things come up, and you're like, oh, I'm attracted to a lot of women who like football and have, I don't know, a degree in law or something.
Weirdly enough, actually, I tend not to do as well with people that are mathematicians or scientists,
right,
or economists or bankers,
because opposites attract.
It tends to be the arty creatives. Yeah. A lot of people that are into their philosophy or their music or their drama or their poetry. So now I've made a deliberate effort to try to date those kind of people more, because the evidence to me is compelling. Again, I get many more, 2 to 3 times as many date twos from women that are in the artsy world rather than the scientists. Because as a mathematician, you think, oh, surely the maths lit. But actually, I don't think I've ever even had a date 2 with a mathematician.
Wow.
Right.
No.
Do you think that's because you guys are more like samey?
I think from my limited own view of dating, I think people need to feel as if they add value, they bring something special. Right. And if both of you are like, oh, I'm the mathematician, and you're almost like squaring off, oh no, I'm the mathematician, no, I like square numbers, no, I like cube numbers. So I think if someone offers something different, then you're learning from them.
Yeah. And I get that, because like me and my boyfriend, we're very different. He works in finance, and then I work in TV. So it's very different. And I guess one's creative, one's like, again, a mathematician. So we're completely different. I never thought it would work, but actually we work in.
Whereas I'm quite like you, actually. I think I've been single pretty much my whole life. And yeah, pretty much. I don't know about 12 years single, but at least
I wouldn't say you haven't been single your whole life.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't realize I was in a relationship when I was in one. It took me like after the breakup to be like, you were. So yeah, anyways, in that regard, I feel like I've been single my whole life. And I would say,
he's like, okay.
No, I'm listening.
No, I think I'm listening to you, and I literally think we're like the same person. Like truly, like I don't know, lots of things you're saying resonates with me.
There's also a theory about, every 7 years, every single atom in our body is replaced. So we're not the same person as we were physically 7 years. Obviously, somehow our consciousness, subconsciousness is the same person, but our physical body is not the same one. So experience from 7+ years ago. So if you've been single for 7 years, this body has always been single. 7. That's why people are like, like the 7-year itch.
Yeah.
It's because they've changed completely physically. Every atom's been replaced.
I've learned something new.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm loving learning you.
Was that TikTok? Learn something new every day.
With Bobby Seagull.
That's going to be my TikTok. Learn something new every day with Bobby Seagull. Today's fact is about...
Yeah, and you can have your quick reels, and it's going to be great.
Reels.
Yeah. But I love that you were speaking about your spreadsheets and the data and the everything. And I've thought about your love for maths and dating, and I've come up with a little game where
Just been excited about it.
I hope it's good. But I've come up with a little game called the Math Ain't Mathin.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So in this, I'm going to give you some scenarios, okay? And each time in the scenario, the person's a 10, but there's something that could make them be not a 10. It could either
10 but.
Let me put my glasses on for this one.
10 but. So you can give them extra points, or you can deduct them. So say they're a 10, but there's something that I say in the scenario that's really off-putting.
Okay.
It could make them like a 3, because you could minus 7 points from them.
Oh,
or you could decide you really like it and be like, no, that's like a 15, like 20 in my book.
So they're breaking the mathematical scale.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fine.
So,
I like this. The
let's see.
Mathing.
Right. They're a 10, but they don't like chai and they don't know how to make it. What does that really make them?
They don't. Okay, I actually don't mind they don't know how to make it. I always think you can teach skills.
Okay.
I actually wouldn't even deduct any marks for that.
I love him.
You wouldn't? Okay.
But they don't like chai. That is a problem, because I like chai. That is an issue. They're losing points.
Yes.
How many?
How many are they losing?
They were a 10. Now I
think they're losing 4. Losing 4 points.
4, so that makes them a 6.
Yeah, because the fact they don't like it, I love chai.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go to chai shops.
Exactly.
What are you going to do in Green Street?
What was Sunday, bro?
I personally would give it like a 3.
3. I'd deduct 7.
I'm being very generous.
You are. So nice.
I'm being very generous.
Be raw and honest.
Be raw, honest.
Yeah.
Okay, 4.
Yeah.
4,
Yeah, that's a 4. Okay. They're a 10, but have to use their fingers to count to do their times tables.
Oh, I'm not. They're going to stay a 10. I don't judge people
Oh,
on
okay.
mathematics. No, I'm not.
Oh,
I don't judge.
Bobby.
I don't judge. In fact, I think I encourage people. I think people shouldn't have. Just because they had negative experience of maths in school
Yes.
doesn't mean it should be a lifelong trauma. And it's not for me, people like me, to judge them. My job is to help support them. So no, it wouldn't deduct a single mark off them. In fact, they might go to 11 because I have now, so I can work with them. They might go to 11. They might go up one.
No, I feel like such a good thief for even coming up with that scenario.
Your ones are quite harsh.
Maybe I'm just.
He can't say anything. He can't say anything mean. What?
Okay, they're a 10,
Yeah.
and I know that you're from Kerala,
Yes.
South India.
Yes.
Well, South India, they love dosa, right? So they're a 10, but they hate dosa.
Did you say dosa?
Dosa?
Don't
Dosa?
say dosa.
They hate.
Dosa?
So based on my sort of previous, again, this is what I like referencing.
Yes.
I benchmarked chai,
Yes.
and they dropped down to a 4.
Mm.
They're dropping down to a 2.
Whoa.
Because this is like, we love
Dosa's your
dosas in
life,
our family.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love a dosa.
What are they going to do if we visit uncles and aunties?
Yeah.
They just say like, I just prefer plain bread. No. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to
That's
say
a
my
good one.
next one, but it's another mass shaming one. So
Go on,
probably.
do it.
But no, but you can see because there's different levels.
Make me
It's
shut
okay.
up
This
again.
is going to be mean. This is going to be mean.
Go on.
They're a 10, but they don't know what a prime number is.
Ooh, you know what, that one? I think that's going to go to a 12.
Oh!
You know why? Because I love prime numbers so much, it's a chance to try and win them over. The number stuff is not as fun, like the times tables. So it's prime numbers, that's a big opportunity. I've always seen life as not as like, it's not a peril. That's like there's like you can either be a victim or a creator when things happen to you, because shit happens in life. We can't impact that. But the way you react to it, obviously initially you'll also have that moment of like, oh God. But the way you react to things is what defines you. So I think if someone doesn't know what prime number is, for me, I think, opportunity to show them the joy and beauty of prime numbers. So actually, I'm going to give them a +2 for that.
Oh, +2, so they're at 12. Okay.
I love that. I saw that on your TED Talk actually.
Yeah.
Prime
All of
numbers.
I know.
exactly.
Then when they learn the prime numbers, they can move up to cube numbers.
Yeah.
And then,
There's a world
So
of
much to
opportunity
learn.
out there.
It's going to be great. Okay, so they're a 10, but they never want to get married. So that's not like a bad thing on their thing. That's just a scenario. That's like, is that a deal breaker for you?
He's happy.
He's
This
happy.
is
It's a
not
hard
good
one.
because I would like to get married, have
Yes.
children.
Mhm.
And okay, it depends on their reason, because maybe they've grown up in a family situation with trauma where their parents separated and they've got all this baggage. So I think, again, just on the basis, if you just told me they're a 10 but they don't want to get married, I'd be like, oh, that's a red flag, they're going to go to 0. But I'd want to understand why. Is it just they're like, oh no, it's not a cool thing nowadays, Instagram reels tell me,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, nah,
Yeah, then
you're
you're-
0.
then you're
But if it's
no.
like a genuine family trauma that they've seen lots of divorce and separation of their family, then I'd be like, okay, obviously I would still want to get married to them, but I wouldn't drop them. I'd like,
Right.
let's work together to
And
work through that
see.
trauma, because there must be a reason. So it's like,
Yeah.
if it's not trauma related, they're a 0.
Okay.
But if it's something trauma related, I'm always going to give it, I'm going to give this no rating, because
Yeah. And I think that's completely fair, because this is, it was slightly different, but I just
You got
wanted
great
to know.
answers, Bobby.
Great
thank you,
answers.
but they're my genuine.
Yeah. I
And
know.
Yeah.
you can tell you're a proper mathematician because you want to solve the problem.
Yeah,
You're looking at all the
exactly. Solve the
probability
problem.
factors
Yeah.
and like the algebra of it all. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
I
always
love
look at
that.
things analytically.
Yeah, I love
You know,
that.
have you ever seen The Matrix?
No,
the
I
first-
haven't. I tried to watch it on the plane on the way to Costa
It's
Rica.
a generation
I've
thing.
had no, but we were young when The Matrix came out. We should have maybe seen it because all our friends have. But we
Yeah.
just
So many cultural, because in the film, Keanu Reeves, Neo, he finally sees the world. They live in this simulation, and he sees that the world is just numbers. And for me, it's not quite that, because I'm a normal human being. But I do, when I see things, I always try to analyze things, like the pros, the cons. Can I put it down to numbers? And it's not. I've done it so often that it's not even conscious now, it's just subconscious. If
Yeah.
I see a bus number, if I see the bus number 425 in East London, I'm like, oh, that's 20 squared plus 5 squared.
Wow.
damn.
I just see numbers, and because I do it so often,
Yeah.
it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, you're like a walking calculator.
Honestly.
All right, the last one, okay?
Okay.
Because I know this means a lot to you.
Okay.
They're a 10, but they hate West Ham with a passion.
Oh,
A passion. They hate them.
I think this is a no-go.
This is like their
How can
minus.
the marriage work?
It doesn't work, because I
Yeah.
think if they were indifferent, acceptable. It actually wouldn't adjust the rating. But hate.
Yeah, hate. That's a strong word, man.
I'm an ambassador for the club. I'm a family has 2 season tickets there.
Yeah.
If you go to my room, I've got a big shirt, Seagull. There's another one with West Ham when they won the Europa Conference League, signed shirt from the team. I think this is just not. I think I just need to like shake hands and say, darling, it could have been us in another life, but not in this one.
Not in this lifetime,
not in this life, baby.
That's
Not in
it.
this life. Come on, you irons. God, that would be that thing is. I've once dated a girl whose family were all Arsenal, and it did cause a couple of frictional issues because
I was gonna say we're Arsenal supporters.
yeah, a lot of Asians are, aren't they? Yeah.
Or Liverpool.
Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah.
But when she dated, she didn't date Arsenal. Her family were Arsenal fans. She was indifferent. But when we had like jokey conversations about kids, and I'd say, yeah, the kids would be West Ham, like the dad, like, oh no, they'll be Arsenal like their granddad. I'm like, what?
Cause
And there were a couple of so I think if they hate the club that you follow, I think hate's a strong word.
Hate's a strong word.
So even like if they hate maths, that is an issue as well. If they're indifferent, dislike, had a difficult experience, but hate is something that's. I actually watched Romeo and Juliet. There's like a not stage play, the Baz Luhrmann DiCaprio version, but like a choir performed version of that. And one of the lines is like Juliet says, "From my only hate, my only love." But I don't think that works with certain things in life. If someone hates something diametrically opposed to your being, it's not. I think it's not going to work, baby.
It's not going to work. Ladies, now you know. If you sound like you add up to be the kind of woman that Bobby likes, hit him in the DM.
But don't tell me what you
can
West
actually
Ham.
hit our DMs.
Hit
And
their
we
DMs,
will let Bobby know.
They can be like Seema Auntie,
Yeah.
the digital Seema Auntie, Seema Auntie.
I have been playing Seema Auntie recently.
Really? Yeah.
I've been trying to hook up some of my single
She's
friends.
always
with
doing
guys.
it. You're always doing that.
I'm literally, sometimes I'll meet people, like I could meet you and I'll just be like, are you single? I've got someone in mind. They're like X, Y, and Z.
When you saying you knew someone for Bobby earlier?
Oh,
if I did, I've forgotten in my mind.
You and Mum were talking about someone, a cousin of someone.
Do you know who it is? Because I don't.
I do, but I can't say
Don't
it.
embarrass
I don't know. I've totally forgotten.
tell
My
you
mind's
after.
gone blank. My mind's gone blank. But yeah, I will still be Seema Auntie for you.
good and bad.
I'm sure we'll get all the DMs and everything. Can I slide them?
Yeah.
We'll do a
You
little.
can filter. You can filter.
Yeah, we'll do a little background.
You've
check
got
on
my
that.
the math thing. You've got the so if they say Bobby sounds great, but just let him know that I'm not into. I don't like chai or I don't like dosas. You know that. Oh no, lady.
No,
you have
we
to go on a
know.
course to learn to like almost like
those are the
people
cool
go on the
things you should ask them.
driving courses like speed awareness.
Yeah.
If they go on like chai awareness courses or dosa awareness courses, then send them after me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got you.
Also, we do have you. We got you. We got you.
Got my back.
Before we wrap up, though, I really want to talk to you about your books because I know that
yes.
you have published a few books now.
Yeah, I've got like 2 under my own name. One and as like a what's the word? Editor.
Yeah.
But these are my
Nice.
2 under my own name. One's with the guy. One's called the Monkman and Seagull Quiz Book.
Love that.
So that was with my friend from University Challenge. And again, my whole life changed where I went viral on social media 2016, 17. Like I was trending #1 on Twitter. I was the head of department at the time. My students said to me, Mr. Seagull, everyone's like, you're trending on Twitter. They mentioned me on Capital FM. I was in the Metro, Daily Mail. And it was my enthusiasm. I remember on Twitter that night, the BBC tweeted saying, everyone fell in love with Bobby Seagull. He's the happiest ever contestant on the show. So and then Eric Monkman was my friend. He defeated my team, but we became friends. We did like a couple of road trip shows, a radio show, published a book. So I'll give this and I'll dedicate it to whoever you want. The Monkman and Seagull Quiz Book. And this is one's more mathsy one. It's called The Life-Changing Magic of Numbers. About maths changed my life. So it looks at whether you're going to the gym or you're cooking or you're thinking about money, how maths is involved everywhere. And even there's a chapter on dating. And interestingly, the dating one is the one that got the most interest because, and again, I sort of realized that people may not like maths, but everyone has an interest in love and relationships. So actually, talking about dating is a good way to get people to talk about, I think, maths, because I can then look at the stats of
This could be
algorithms.
my next thing when I'm on a date. I could talk about maths and see
you
like, how
go.
we go. Yeah.
Exactly,
So-
yeah. So these are for you. I'll
Thank-
sign them to whoever you want.
Thank
Us?
you. And
Yeah.
they're also for all of you at home. Tell them, Bobby, where can you get these books?
Oh, any good bookstore, online places like the one named after a rainforest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
other
That one.
online retailers are available.
Yeah,
If every time I do stuff on the BBC and they'll say, Bobby, where can we get your things? And I'll say, oh, Amazon.
No, don't
other
say
good
it.
retailers are available.
Yeah,
So I've
yeah.
learned subconsciously to not say Amazon. But
Yeah.
again, on my socials, often I'll plug things, saying,
Yeah,
approaching like Christmas time and so.
Yeah, you can find Bobby at Bobby Seagull on Instagram, TikTok that I'm gonna
TikTok,
start managing. Yeah,
YouTube, I've got one.
yeah.
Facebook, I've got a LinkedIn.
I've seen your Linktree
got it.
page actually. Yeah, it's all on there.
Yeah,
So
I think I've added you both on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yeah, you did.
I did.
I need to update my LinkedIn.
Bobby connected with me on LinkedIn, and I was like, "It's Bobby."
Yeah,
Going to
did my
know.
research.
Yeah.
And is there anything you can tell us that's coming? Because you're a man about town. You're here, there, and everywhere. Is there anything exciting coming up that you can tell us about?
Again, I'm writing a book at the moment. Another
Oh,
one.
nice.
I'm writing 2 books.
Fictional, non-fictional?
Both.
Wow.
So the non-fiction is almost like, so like a lot of people want to learn about money in this country,
Yes.
especially children, but most money textbooks are really dry. But a lot of people like the idea of Doctor Who, that type of adventure.
Yeah.
So imagine there's like a fictionalized person of Bobby who wears a waistcoat and tie and travels through time with 2 assistants, but in a giant ATM machine. And they tap in years, 1920, end up in 1920s America, wearing waistcoats and stuff or tuxedos, and they learn about the stock market, get involved in the Great Wall Street crash, and then they type in 1270, end up in China, and they meet this guy called Marco Polo, and Marco Polo, the invention of money in China. So I think I'm writing a book about.
That is, I already want to read that.
I wanna
That's
read that.
So it's like a graphic
amazing.
novel. So it's not going to be fiction. It's going to be like So that's the graphic novel, but that's going to be based on history.
Yeah,
so kids
yeah.
will learn about money and economics and business. But the other one, which is more my passion project, is a crime fiction called Murder by Numbers.
Lovely.
So I've been inspired by
Love
Richard
crime.
Osman because his books have been doing so well. So because I went to Cambridge Uni, the context is there's a murder in Cambridge, and in the body they find a piece of paper, and this piece of paper has like a set of clues about who will be murdered next and where. But they're mathematical puzzles, and again it gets released on TikTok and Instagram because people have screenshotted it and shared it, and then people are trying to go around stopping these next murders, and again. And a couple of days later, the next murder, and this mathematician, he or she, leaves another clue about where the next murder will be. So people need to, solve the mathematical clues to stop this murderer.
Oh my god, it sounds so good.
Murder by Numbers already got the title.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you didn't even need me for that one.
Yeah.
But I need you to help promote it, get the Asian community into it.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh,
So yeah, I feel like I want to write. And then they can be made into
Yes.
films as well. So and
Yeah.
dramas.
Well, I was gonna say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the Murder by Numbers sounds like
know.
Netflix, baby.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I would binge that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I would totally binge
There we
that.
go.
I'm gonna keep on binging you, Bobby, because honestly,
thank
you're
you.
nothing but a dream, a
Oh,
delight,
so kind of you.
amazing energy, like beautiful to look at. My
Oh,
word.
thank you.
And we will definitely have you back. We say that probably to every guest, but
Yeah.
we want you back.
Oh God, but next time I'll be married with children, and you'll be like, Bobby,
Yes.
you still got that smile, but you look a bit tired.
The hair
I'm
is
like,
looking a bit messy.
yeah. I'll be there holding the baby.
There's some spit up on you.
Oh God, yeah, vomit on my shoulder.
No, we can't wait. Honestly, everything you've been doing is amazing. Your advocacy for education and inclusion and just promoting and celebrating everyone is amazing. And we need more people like you.
Yeah, I
in
always
the
think you
world.
should. The way to improve yourself is by uplifting others, never by
Yeah.
stepping on the shoulders, but actually lifting them up with you. That's always been my belief.
Yeah.
Honestly, stay authentic, Bobby. We
Yeah,
love
thank
just the way
you.
You really are a gem, truly.
Oh,
so yeah,
so-
thank you
love
so
that.
much for coming on.
Pleasure and honor to be on this podcast.
Oh, it's a pleasure and honor having you here. So
Thank
thank
you.
Thank you.
But for now, it's been your girl Nikita.
It's been your girl Tash.
And it's Bobby Seagull.
Yes.
Oh, it's Bobby Seagull. Second time lucky.
And you've been listening to Two Chickpeas in a podcast.